Hello again, this is Ben McGahee with McGahee Mathematics, and in this video lesson, kind of last part of our polynomials series of adding, subtracting, multiplying, dividing. This is the second part on polynomials where we're going to learn long division, where you have, you're dividing a binomial into maybe a trinomial, or you could be doing a binomial into a binomial, or etc. And this is kind of one of those division problems that many students struggle with, and it does take a little bit of practice and effort on their part to really understand it. But hopefully we'll provide 3 examples here that will make a smooth transition to doing these problems. So we'll look at the first example. What we have is we'll have x plus 2 into x squared plus 5x plus 6. So, the first thing that we want to do is we want to divide the first part, the binomial x, we want to divide that into x squared. So we know that, x times what is x squared? And that would be x, right? So if you're not sure about that, you can write it to the side. You could say x squared in the dividend divided by the divisor, which is x, equals x. Right? Because when we subtract the exponents, we get 2 minus 1 is 1, and x to the first power is x. So after we divide, we multiply x times x, that's x squared. And then we multiply x times 2, that'll be plus 2x. And then the next step is to subtract everything. So when you subtract everything, remember when subtracting polynomials that you have to change the sign of each term. So since both of the signs are positive with x squared and 2x, you have to make it negative, right? So that'll be minus x squared. Let's use a different color here. There we go. Minus x squared and then minus 2x. So notice that the x squares are going to cancel, right? Because x squared minus x squared is 0. And then 5x minus 2x is 3x. And then the next step is to bring down. You do plus 6. Okay. So now we're going to divide x into 3x. So we know 3x divided by x. The x's cancel and we just get 3. So that'll be plus 3. And then we do 3 times x, distribute. We get 3x. And then 3 times 2, that'll be 6. 3x plus 6. So 3x plus 6 minus, 3x plus 6. We notice that these 3 x's, everything will turn negative. We're going to cancel. And then also 6 minus 6 is 0. That's going to cancel. So our remainder ends up being 0. And we see that our final answer is x plus 3. That is our quotient. And to check to make sure this is correct, you can FOIL or multiply x plus 3, that's your quotient, the answer, times the divisor, x plus 2. And then see, if you get the dividend on the inside, which is x squared plus 5x plus 6. and I will let you guys try that on your own, and you should be able to verify. Hey, you should get the x squared plus 5x plus 6. Okay, so next problem that we're going to do is we're going to do y minus 1, and that's going to be divided into 4y squared minus 10y plus 8. So y minus 1 into 4y squared minus 10y plus 8. So we go y into 4y squared. So we know that will go in there, what, 4y times, right? So y squared divided by y is just y, and then of course we need the 4 in there. So we have 4y times y, 4y squared, 4y times negative 1 is minus 4y. Okay, so we subtract, and when we do that, we're going to get the 4y's are going to cancel. 4y squares cancel. That's minus, and then the negating this sign actually ends up making the 4y positive, right? Because it changed sign. So we're going to have negative 10y plus 4y. That gives us negative 6y. And then we bring down plus 8. So doing our last division here, we'll have y into negative 6y. That will just be minus 6, because we already have the y's, they cancel. And then negative 6 times y is minus 6y. Negative 6 times negative 1 would be plus 6. Negative times negative is positive. And then we subtract this whole thing, which means that this ends up turning positive, right? The plus 6y, and then this actually turns negative, right? Taking the opposite sign. So we know that negative 6y plus 6y, those are going to cancel, give us 0. And then we do 8, that's minus 6 is 2. So that's our remainder, which is 2. And the way that we write this remainder is we add the remainder 2, and then we write it all over our divisor, which is 4y, or sorry, y minus 1. So there's our answer. We have 4y minus 6 plus 2 over y minus 1. So remember to write the remainder over the divisor if you have a remainder. Okay. Now let's look at kind of an exception problem that a lot of students struggle with at first, but as I said, once you get a little practice, you get better with it. So you have t plus 3, and then that's into t to the third plus 27. So at first we could start, right, by dividing as usual. We do t into t cubed. That's what we're missing, 2t, so that's t squared. And then t squared times t is t cubed. And then t squared times 3 is plus 3t squared. And then we have to subtract. Now this is where we have the problem, because we have t cubed terms, we can combine those, but in the dividend there's no t squared here, even though there is a t squared term here, 3t squared. So we can't combine those terms. So we're going to have to adjust our dividend, the t cubed plus 27. We're missing a t squared term and also a t term if we're looking at polynomial in descending order. So what we need to do is, let's rewrite it again. We'll have t plus 3 into t cubed plus, since there's no t squared term there, we're just going to put a 0 placeholder in front of it. We'll have 0 t squared, and same for t. We'll have plus 0t plus 27. So this time, we can take care of the t squared and the t terms when those arise. So we'll do our division again. We have t into t cubed is t squared, and then we do t squared times t is t cubed. T squared times 3 is 3t squared. And we subtract. And we notice that the t cubes cancel, and then this will become minus 3t squared. So what we'll have here is 0t squared minus 3t squared is negative 3t squared. And then we bring down 0t. So our next part is to divide the t into negative 3t squared. So that'll give us what? Minus 3t. And then we do negative 3t times t. It's minus 3t squared. And negative 3t times 3 is minus 9t. And then we change the signs, and notice that this will become plus, and this will also become plus 2, yeah. So these negative 3t squares will cancel, and then 0t plus 9t is 9t. So finally, our last step is we're going to do t into 9t. That's going to go plus 9, or 9 times. And then we distribute 9 to the t, and 9 to 3. So that's going to be 9 times t is 9t. I'm sorry, I'm kind of out of space here. So it'll be minus 9t. And 9 times 3 is 27, so that'll be plus 27. So we subtract the whole thing, and we see that 9t plus 27 minus itself, 9t plus 27, this should all cancel out and give us 0 for our remainder. So our final answer is t squared minus 3t plus 9. That's our quotient. Okay. So again, you can check, multiply t plus 3 times the quotient, t squared minus 3t plus 9, and you should get the dividend, t cubed plus 27. So this has been McGahee with McGahee Mathematics on dividing polynomials by long division. And do look forward to the next video where we're going to learn how to factor polynomials, where we have to write a polynomial as a product of factors, just like when you're factoring regular numbers. So if you know factor of 20, you could factor as 4 times 5. So we're going to learn how to factor the polynomials, say like x squared plus 2x. So we'll learn how to do that. So stay tuned.